Mr. Speaker, I yield 3 minutes to the gentlewoman from Virginia, Mrs. Comstock, who continues to work tirelessly on this issue.
The gentlewoman from Virginia is recognized for 3 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and thank you, Mr. Chairman, for your leadership and for all of my colleagues on the committee and all of those who have participated in this process on this bill and this resolution. I rise in support of both the bill and the resolution. We know sexual harassment is about power, a misuse of power that impacts careers, lives, and self-esteem. We know most women do not come forward and disclose sexual harassment. We know often they leave their desired careers because of that. We've seen it in all industries. Predators such as Harvey Weinstein in Hollywood, Matt Lauer, Roger Ailes, Charlie Rose in the media, John Conyers and Trent Franks in our own body. So it is so important that this legislation, this historic step, is fundamentally changing that balance of power by creating an office for the victims, the Office of Employee Advocacy. This is the single most important thing in this legislation to restore that balance of power that has been misused by those in power. When I spoke to Dorina Bertucci, who 30 years ago was sexually harassed in this body by Congressman Jim Bates of California, she didn't have an office to go to. She didn't even have one that wasn't very good. So now, 30 years later, we are writing this. We now have transparency. People can't hide behind the process anymore. The members' names will be known, and taxpayers will not be on the hook for any of this. The offender themselves will have to pay, and we have all types of methods in here to get that money because we want to make sure the victim is made whole. I appreciate we've also adopted some of the DeSantis provisions to get a full accounting of past cases so we know the amounts and we know exactly what happened. And I'm still concerned about those members who may have used their MRAs, their member allowances, in an inappropriate way. That is corrected in this bill and is no longer allowed. Also, we've made it clear that there are no relationships with subordinates. I do want to mention that I still do believe, despite this is a great bill, and I heartily support it and so appreciate all the hard work that the staff and everyone has done, but I still do believe we need to disclose the past names that are still unknown. Some of those names have come forward because of the press, because of victims speaking out. We need to let the victims know that they can speak out from the past. If they want to speak out, they can. That this body is not going to be using any of our resources to stop a victim from the past from speaking out. And I also do think we still need to disclose all of those names going forward so that we have full accountability, because part of that misuse of power is that they can continue to know they won't be held accountable, and the victims see that. And so we need to have a strong message that there's nobody in this body that would ever be allowed to go forward without being held accountable. And I thank you and encourage all of my colleagues to support this resolution and this important legislation, and I yield back.
The time of the gentlewoman has expired.